The story begins with a quiet, introverted girl named Casey. She's at her friend Claire's birthday party. Claire knows Casey isn't social, but she invited the entire art class, and Casey happens to be part of it. After the party ends, no one has come to pick Casey up yet. Casey says she'll just take the bus home. Claire's dad insists otherwise. He tells her no, they'll drop her off. The three girls head toward the car with Claire's dad. They get inside and settle in. But from behind, someone other than Claire's dad climbs into the driver's seat. This man, Dennis, starts cleaning the car. The moment the girls notice him, he sprays Claire and Marcia, knocking them unconscious. Casey reaches for the door handle, but Dennis sprays her too. The three girls wake up in a locked room. The door opens and Dennis walks in. He wipes down the chair he brought with him and sits down. He looks at the three girls and chooses Marcia first. He drags her out of the room. Casey whispers to Marcia as she's being pulled away, "Pee on yourself." A short while later, Dennis drags Marcia back inside, and she's screaming. Marcia explains that he wanted her to dance for him. In the chaos, Casey starts remembering her uncle. Her childhood flashes back, a memory of dinner with her dad and uncle. Her uncle had buck fever. He'd get sick whenever he saw a buck. Meanwhile, Dr. Fletcher receives an urgent email from Barry requesting an appointment. Back in the room, Claire and Marcia start planning their escape. Claire says she took 6 months of karate training and thinks they should fight him. Casey argues that the man lifted one of them effortlessly. He's far more powerful than they are. They try to convince her to help them fight, but Casey refuses. She remembers something her dad once told her, that female animals are smarter than males. They stay quiet and hidden, while the males roam freely during mating season without a care. Casey tells them she'll find another way out. Barry arrives to meet Dr. Fletcher and shows her his fashion designs. She asks him what brought him in and what's going on. Barry says it's just a visit, everything's fine. He wanders around her office, looking at things here and there. Dr. Fletcher tells Barry she spoke with his employer, and they're very pleased with his work. Out of all her patients with the same disorder, Barry is the most consistent at his job. Barry asks her how old she is. Dr. Fletcher asks why he wants to know. Barry explains that after she retires or passes away, who will take care of them? She knows everything about them, and who else would even believe they all exist? Dr. Fletcher reassures him that a colleague from Baltimore will take over their cases. Barry straightens the candy bowl on the table and says he should get going. As he's leaving, he asks if anyone even cares about them. Dr. Fletcher tells him yes, and that the University of Paris has invited her to give a lecture, which she'll join via video call. Barry takes his leave. Dr. Fletcher meets with her next patient, and as she's leaving, her neighbor calls out to her. The neighbor asks how she deals with her patients. Dr. Fletcher explains she looks at them from a different perspective. Those who are shattered may not be inferior, they might actually be superior. The neighbor asks if Dr. Fletcher truly believes that. The doctor says she does, but then admits she's not entirely sure. Back in the room, Claire, Marcia, and Casey hear a woman's voice on the other side of the door. She's scolding Dennis for what he did to the girls. They call out to the woman, begging for help. The door opens. They're all shocked, because it's the same man, now dressed in women's clothing and acting like a woman. The woman tells them not to worry. She'll talk to him, and he listens to her. She informs them that he's not allowed to touch them, then leaves them there. Dr. Fletcher's colleague tells her she can't have her own panel at the national conference, but she can be part of the mood disorder panel. Dr. Fletcher insists it's not a mood disorder and that she has evidence, a dog reacting differently to the same person based on which personality is present. They are what they believe they are, and their brains have learned to defend themselves. He dismisses her claims, saying she's being too dramatic. Dr. Fletcher counters, saying maybe they're far more different than we think. Back in the room, the girls are still confused about what's happening. Dennis returns and hands them floor cleaner and toilet cleaner. He tells them they need to keep their toilet clean. Dennis says Patricia reminded him that they are sacred food, and he won't bother them again. The girls are confused by the mention of sacred food. Sometime later, the two girls wake Casey. The man is sitting by the door in different clothes. He introduces himself as Hedwig. Hedwig tells them that someone is on the move, someone is coming, and they won't like it. This person has done awful things to people and will do awful things to them. Casey asks Hedwig how old he is. He says he's 9 years old. Casey points out that Hedwig isn't the man, and he's not the woman either, and he probably doesn't know what they're thinking. Hedwig admits they don't tell him much. Casey asks if he can help them. Hedwig refuses, saying he's not supposed to be there. He stole the light from Dennis, and if he stays too long, Dennis will get angry. He starts to leave, but Casey stops him. She tells him she heard something and asks if he wants to know. Hedwig approaches Casey, and she tells him that the one who's coming is coming for him. Dennis and Patricia talk behind his back, saying this time they need a boy and they're going to give him Hedwig. Casey says they're like babysitters keeping him locked up, and they need to get out of here. Hedwig says it took them a long time to make this place safe, and they can't leave. Then he goes to blow his nose. The girls start to panic. Suddenly they remember what he said, that it took a long time to make this place safe. They look around and notice the walls are all new drywall. They start knocking on the walls and realize the ceiling is hollow. There's a vent up there. Claire begins breaking through the ceiling. Hedwig comes back, and the other two try to stop him. Dennis takes the light and opens the door, but Claire has already climbed into the vent. She crawls through and comes out the other side, then starts running. Dennis chases after her. She runs and hides inside a locker. Dennis catches Claire and locks her in a storage room. Dennis tells the other two that now they'll be separated. Their clothes got dirty, so he orders Marcia to take off her skirt and Casey to remove her shirt. Dennis locks them inside and leaves. Dr. Fletcher is giving her lecture. She explains that one identity can be vastly different from another, and they can coexist. One identity can take the light while another takes the spotlight, working together. One identity can increase physical strength so much that the person can lift 3 times their own body weight. She believes these individuals have unlocked their full potential. Barry arrives to see Dr. Fletcher. She asks him who he is, because she doesn't think he's Barry. She guesses and says it's Dennis, but that shouldn't be possible. Dennis is banned from the light along with Patricia because he likes watching young girls dance naked, and even though he knows it's wrong, he can't resist. Their belief system is also a problem. Barry insists he's not Dennis. Dr. Fletcher points out that Dennis has OCD, and in the last 2 visits, someone kept putting the candy bowl back in its exact place. She asks if Barry is sending these emails while Dennis shows up pretending everything's fine. She tells him she needs to speak with one of the other 22 personalities. Barry says that's not possible, he doesn't know how to do that. Barry picks up a candy, eats it, and spills some on his collar to prove he's Barry and not Dennis. Dr. Fletcher seems convinced, and Barry leaves. She checks the CCTV footage and sees Barry stepping over scattered trash on his way out. It's a performance. If it were really him, he would have walked around it. Dr. Fletcher knows it's Dennis. Marcia tells Casey they need to get out of here and find a door or a window. Casey remembers when her dad hunted that deer. He told her the thrill is about whether you can outsmart the animal or not. Casey wakes up from sleep, and Patricia arrives with food for them. She fixes Casey's hair and tells her to come with her so they can eat properly. Patricia takes them to the kitchen and they start eating. Marcia asks if Claire can eat with them, but Patricia refuses. She says Claire nearly ruined their big reception. Patricia starts making more sandwiches, and she and Casey continue talking. Marcia tries to hit Patricia with a chair and make a run for it. Patricia turns to chase after her, but Casey tries to stop her. Patricia orders Casey to go back to her room. Marcia doesn't get far and can't find a way out. Patricia finds her and locks her in a different closet. Dennis tells Casey that the 3 of them will now be kept separate, and the beast is coming for them. Dennis orders Casey to take off her shirt because it has breadcrumbs on it. Casey wakes up, and Hedwig is in bed with her. She tells him he lied to her. Casey apologizes. Hedwig asks if she knows who Dennis and Patricia are. He explains that they all have to sit in a chair, and Barry decides who gets to stand in the light. But Barry lost that power because of Hedwig, and if Hedwig wants, he can take that power from Barry forever. That's why Dennis and Patricia said he could stay with them. They both believe in the beast. Casey asks if he's seen the beast. Hedwig says no. Hedwig asks her to kiss him, and Casey agrees. They kiss, and Hedwig says maybe now she's pregnant. Hedwig tells her he loves dancing in his room, and he has a CD player right next to the window. Casey tells Hedwig she wants to see his CD player, but Hedwig says it's in his room and she's trying to trick him again. Casey shares a secret with him about how she used to create chaos at school to get detention so she could be away from everyone else. Hedwig says he'll take her to his room after Dennis finishes his getting ready ritual. But Dennis has an appointment, and when he falls asleep, someone keeps trying to reach the doctor lady. Dennis goes to see Dr. Fletcher, pretending to be Barry. Dr. Fletcher discusses an old incident where two teenage girls came up to her, placed her hand on their chest under their shirt, then laughed and walked away. It was a dare prank, but it upset her deeply. She believes this brought up issues from when he was a child and was abused. Sometimes abuse can cause suppressed personalities to take the light. She says if he's Dennis, she understands why he took over. He felt he needed to save everyone. The others told her that Dennis and Patricia have been telling the group about the beast. She mentions they told her these stories about how the beast can climb walls, how his skin is incredibly thick, and asks if he believes in this beast. She tells Dennis she can call Kevin out by his full name, but that would be chaos. Everyone would fight for the light, and she doesn't want to hurt any of them. She knows Dennis wants to protect Kevin. She asks if he's Dennis. Dennis drops the act. He tells her they all ridicule him and Patricia. They're not perfect, but they don't deserve to be ridiculed. He says they've taken charge, and only they can protect Kevin. Kevin is too weak and doesn't know how powerful he can become. Dr. Fletcher asks Dennis when he first came into existence and how he and Patricia and all the undesirable identities became aligned. Dennis doesn't answer. Dr. Fletcher asks if he still believes in the beast. She explains that the beast isn't one of them. She's met all the personalities, but she's never met the beast because, as the story goes, the beast lives at the train station where Kevin's dad left him. Dennis hasn't seen him. The doctor says that's because he doesn't exist. He's a fantasy, not a 24th identity. Hedwig takes Casey to his room and starts dancing to a song. Casey compliments him and reminds him he said the CD player was next to the window. Hedwig shows her a window drawn on paper. Casey is shocked. Hedwig realizes she wants to leave and thought it was a real window. Casey begs him to help her get out of there. Hedwig says she should go back to her room. Casey cries and begs, saying she wants to listen to his favorite songs and that he wanted to show her something cool. Hedwig hands her a walkie-talkie. He says this is what he wanted to show her. He tells Casey it's really cool and that it's Dennis's and he stole it. She turns it on, and it connects. Hedwig tells her not to talk, but Casey shoves him aside and speaks into it. She says she and 3 other girls have been kidnapped and they're in a basement, but the person on the other end thinks she's someone else playing a prank. Patricia takes the light. The man asks who's speaking and how she got their walkie-talkie. Patricia snatches the walkie away and takes Casey back to her room while reciting a prayer. She says Dennis will explain its meaning to her in the evening. Casey picks up a nail from near the door. Dennis arrives and tells her the beast is a sentient creature, the highest order of human evolution, and he believes the time of ordinary humans is over. He tells her tonight is sacred, the last night, and it's almost over. Then he leaves. Casey's uncle tells her to become an animal in the middle of the woods, meaning to take off her clothes. He used to do wrong things to Casey, but Casey points a gun at him. Her uncle tells her to put the gun down. He takes the gun from her. Casey cries in the room. Dr. Fletcher receives multiple emails from Barry saying we need you. Dennis goes outside, and Dr. Fletcher comes to meet him. She says one of them emailed her and asks if everything is alright. She asks him what's going on and says she knows he wants to tell her something, so why not just tell her? Dennis takes the doctor inside. They talk about how Kevin's mother used to punish him when he was 3 years old, and Dennis came into the light at that time. The only way to survive his mother was to keep everything clean. Dr. Fletcher tells Dennis there are other ways to help Kevin, and she considers her patient's family. That's what she chose instead of the more traditional approach. She asks Dennis to tell her the truth. Dennis explains how the doctor wrote about a patient who was blind for 10 years, but later it was discovered he had DID, and 3 of his identities started to see. She wrote that because of his belief, his nerves regenerated. Dennis says the 24th identity is the beast. He's seen him, and he's bigger and more powerful than all of them. The doctor says he must not be real. There's a limit to what a human being can become. She asks about eating the impure young. She asks who he's going to meet, and Dennis says the beast. The doctor says they should talk in a proper session and she'd like to record all this. She walks to the door and secretly hides her handkerchief in the door lock. She asks Dennis if she can use the restroom. The doctor uses the restroom as an excuse to check the closet, and she finds Claire locked inside. Dennis shuts the door and tells the doctor they will never reach their full potential. The doctor cries, saying this is her fault and she should have paid more attention. She tries to stop him, telling him this is a crime. This identity is monstrous, and it's happening because of where Kevin is in his life. Dennis knocks the doctor unconscious and lays her on the sofa. Casey is trying to break the lock with the nail. Claire tells Marcia that someone is here and they need to get out. They start searching the rooms and Marcia finds a hanger. Dennis goes outside. Patricia buys flowers. Claire tells Marcia it sounded like a slide lock and asks her to try opening the lock through the door crack. Dennis takes the light again. Casey opens the door and gets out, but the outer door is locked. She tries using the computer, but there's no internet connection. Marcia tries to open the door. Dennis places the flowers in front of the train at the train station. Casey starts watching recorded videos of all the different identities on the computer. Dennis gets onto the train and removes his shirt. Casey discovers that all the identities are different people in themselves, not just the same person with mood swings. The Beast takes the light. He climbs onto the train, crosses over it, and starts running on the tracks. Marcia is just about to open the lock. The Beast runs carefully, staying hidden. Dr. Fletcher has woken up too. They both try to open the door. The Beast is almost there. The doctor writes something on paper, and Marcia is just about to unlock the door. The Beast arrives. The doctor tries to talk to him, but it doesn't work. The Beast grabs the doctor. She tries to defend herself with a knife, but the knife breaks, and the Beast crushes her to death. Casey sees in the video that Barry keeps keys behind a hat. She looks and finds the keys. Casey opens the door and steps outside. She sees that the Beast has killed Marcia. She looks into the other closet and finds Claire still alive, but the Beast is eating her alive. Witnessing all of this, Casey panics. She locks the door and starts running. She reaches the living room and sees Dr. Fletcher's dead body. She tries to open the door with the keys, but it won't open. The Beast emerges from the closet. Casey searches for the keys when she finds the doctor's note. It reads, "Say the name Kevin Wendell Crumb." The Beast arrives and starts climbing the wall. Casey begins saying the name, and the Beast starts weakening. He moves into another room and collapses. Kevin remembers how his mother used to abuse him. Kevin comes out and asks Casey who she is and what happened. He sees Dr. Fletcher and asks who did this. Casey tells him he did it. Kevin says he doesn't remember anything. He was on a bus, and after that he remembers nothing. He asks if it's September 18th, 2014. Casey says no. Kevin tells her there's a shotgun behind some things over there, and bullets are in his uniform closet. He asks her to kill him. Jade takes the light and stops her, saying Kevin can't handle the reality. The light passes between several people, and Hedwig takes over. Casey starts looking for the gun. Hedwig says he has control and he'll give the light to Dennis and Patricia. Casey finds the gun, and Patricia takes over. Casey tries to open the door. Patricia says the impure must be sacrificed and gives the light back to the Beast. Casey manages to open the door and starts running. Casey reaches the uniform locker, grabs the bullets, and runs. Before she can load the gun, the Beast grabs her. Casey struggles but manages to load the gun, and the Beast disappears. Her leg is injured, and she starts running. She reaches a dead end. She remembers when her dad died, she had to live with her uncle. Casey aims the gun. The Beast starts breaking the lights one by one. He's coming closer. She tries to shoot him, but the Beast hides in the darkness. Casey moves into a cage, and the Beast passes in front of her. She shoots but misses. She only has 2 shots left. The Beast tells her that her gun can't hurt him. He comes in front of her and she shoots him. The Beast falls to the ground. He gets up and starts bending the bars. The Beast sees scars on Casey's body and tells her she's different from the rest. Her heart is pure. He says the broken are the more evolved. The Beast leaves her there and walks away. A worker arrives and finds Casey locked inside. He gets her out and takes her outside the zoo. They call the police because Casey said some people are hurt in the area below maintenance. The police arrive, and Casey is rescued. Police check Kevin's quarters and find the dead bodies. Casey's uncle comes to pick her up. Kevin managed to survive and ran away. They all decided they'll now listen to the beast, and he can show the entire world that they exist and how powerful they are. Kevin is now a wanted man and a murderer under the law. Thank you for watching this video. Like it and share your comments, and do subscribe to the channel.